What's going on, kids? My name is DRex. I'm new to the Pokemon battling community in a sense. I played a couple of years ago in 4th gen. Didn't really get into PokeSab and all that, so spent way too much time trying to level up Pokemon legitimately, so kind of got out of it for a while. Getting back into it now in the 5th gen that I have an Ace card and Pokegen and all the necessary tools. So here's a 5th gen UU battle I have against a guy named Kal-El. Link for his YouTube will be in the description. It was a pretty fun, drawn out, exciting to the end type battle. So yeah, let's get into it. So he's going to lead off with Rotom Heat, and I'm going to lead off with Yuxi, or Uxie, or however people want to pronounce it. So I don't know what he's going to do. I'm fearing a trick, but I'm just going to start setting up my screens early because it's always good to have extra defenses on both sides. This is believe timid, max HP, max speed, bulky variant with light clay. So it's pretty much just a utility poke to set up screens and some other things that you'll see later in the battle. So he just hits me with the Toxic. That's quite alright because I'm really not going to be staying in much longer now that I got my screen set up. So that doesn't bug me too much. So he switches out and goes into his Rotom Heat yet again. And I go for the Yawn just to try to get his Gastrodon out of there. Really don't have anything to deal with that yet. So I was just kind of hoping that I could shuffle around some of his guys. So now he goes back into Gastrodon, and I really have nothing to do to him anymore, so I'm just going to try to Toxic Stall him out with my Empoleon. This is a weird Empoleon set that I was trying out. It's got Aqua Ring, Toxic, Icy Wind, and Scald, so kind of multiple status stall out kind of Pokemon. So I just go right for the Toxic, trying to get his Gastrodon, get his Hitmon on top instead, which is totally cool with me because I really don't like dealing with those things either. So he switches out, not really sure why, but he goes into his Alakazam, and I just go straight for the Icy Wind. I believe I was expecting his Aerodactyl to come in. I really have no idea where I was going with that, but he doesn't want to stay in with the speed drop, so he goes back out into his Rotom, and I go for the Aqua Ring just in case he brings something in that I could try to Toxic Stall out. It's a good time to set that up. So he goes for the Volt Switch, and this Empoleon is bulky on both sides, so I'm pretty sure I could take it pretty nicely. And I believe my screens are still both up anyhow, so not really fearing that at all. Believe I go for the Scald there just to hit the Rotom, and he predicts that nicely, goes into his Gastrodon and gets the Storm Drain boost. So right now I'm thinking Earth Power is coming, but at the same time I'm also thinking that I could stay in because of the screens still being up. But I'm pretty sure on this turn they wear or my Reflect wears off, so I go back into Yuxi just to try to set them back up. Also possibly fearing him toxicking whatever I switch in, so might as well go to something that's already poisoned. He goes straight into his Alakazam, and I'm like, okay, this is a pretty bulky poke. I know the Shadow Ball is coming, and it's pretty obvious. I could have switched into Snorlax to avoid it, but that really wouldn't have done anything. So I'm like, okay, I'll just get my screens back up before I died of toxic and shadow balls and all that good stuff. So right here I make kind of a silly misplay. I was not expecting him to have substitute, and I believe I went for the yawn just to you know, have him fall asleep on the next turn, able to bring something safely in, not have to worry about it anymore. Really should have either, you know, probably just gone for my other screen right there, but I was expecting him to finish me off with Shadow Ball anyway. So we go into Empoleon. I'm like, okay, I've got my Reflect up. I should be able to take a Focus Blast. Plus I'm pretty bulky, not stabbed, and all those variables lining up like that. I'm like, okay, I should be able to live it pretty low, but he gets a crit, and he knocks my Empoleon right out. So now, I don't really have anything to wall this, so I'm going to have to just try to take out the sub, hope that that works out for me. I go into my physical Nidoking, which nobody ever sees coming, kind of a custom set that I came up with that really just works out well for me in every battle I've used it in. People bring in a special wall to try to, you know, take the Ice Beam or the Flamethrower, and you know, special walls get two-shotted with most moves that he has. Sheer Force, Life Orb boosted. Pretty good move pool for it. Not as good as the special, obviously, but you know, the element of surprise is good. So he tries to take me out with a Psycho Shock there. I go for the Poison Jab, expecting him to expect another Sucker Punch and therefore switch out. Wasn't sure what I was trying to hit with the Poison Jab on his team. I really don't think he had anything especially weak to it. Here I go for the Bulldoze, just because, you know, not resisted as the Poison Stab is. And he just goes through the cover, scouting what other moves a physical Nidoking would carry, because I don't think anybody's ever had to deal with them before. So, after all of this stuff goes on, I switch out of there, just because I'm fearing, you know, a Scald from that range would totally take me out. I go into Slowbro, who actually one of the key players of this match. I gotta say, he did a really damn good job. So he's gonna Volt Switch out, and I'm max HP, max attack, Brave Nature. It's Shofu's old Trick Room Belly Drum sweeping Slowbro that also really helps me catch people off guard. Most people think of them as walls and special attackers. So right here I go for the Trick Room, and now I'm guaranteed to outspeed absolutely everything on his team. I know that Gastrodon can't do anything to me just because I'm bulky, really, really bulky, and you know, Scald's not going to do anything. I don't think Earth Power would do anything to me either. So I go for the Belly Drum, you know, not really fearing any moves coming from him. And if I'm not mistaken, he goes for a Toxic on this turn and misses it, which is really, just really unfortunate for him. You know, that's, you know, moves that aren't 100% accuracy don't hit all the time, but it's really rare to see a Toxic miss. So right now I'm just going to go for the Zen Headbutt. Obviously I can't Aqua Tail him because he'll just get the Storm Drain boost, and +6 Zen Headbutt from a Brave Slowbro is going to take anything on his team right out. So, getting some lefties back, and really just expecting him to bring in Hitmontop and go for a Sucker Punch, because if I was in his place, that's exactly what I'd do. Plus to get the Intimidate, so it's only +5 and not +6. So he goes for the Sucker Punch as I predicted, and since Trick Room was the only move I could go for without killing myself with another Belly Drum, I went for that. Right here, I made kind of a misplay. I was just trying to stall out more of his sucker punches as the toxic poison racked up. So I went for another trick room instead of just going straight for the Zen headbutt. But I'm not sure if he predicted that or just realized that I was going to try to stall out his sucker punches and just goes for the toxic. So I set the trick room back up, guaranteed to outspeed everything yet again. And now I'm like, okay, maybe now he's going to predict that I'm going to just stall out his sucker punches until the poison racks up. So I'm just going to go for a Zen headbutt, expecting him to switch out. But he does not make that mistake and just goes right for the sucker punch. But here's where I really underestimated Slowbro's bulk, being able to take a sucker punch from that range and just easy one-hit KO with the Zen headbutt. So all of that stalling around was really useless. You know, I could have just went right for the Zen headbutt, easily lived a sucker punch from him, and not been toxic, and not been stalled out like that. So this brings me down to 4 HP. I got one more hit. He's got no other Pokemon on his team that have priority moves, so I'm clear to get one more KO. So he's just going to sack his Alakazam. It's at the lowest health out of the rest of the things that he has, and I'm pretty sure from looking at the rest of my team realized that it wasn't going to do him very much good. Way too frail. So he sacks it. I'm going to go down to Toxic Poison right here. And honestly, it was really good that I decided to mess around with the Trick Room, unsetting it up and resetting it up, because now I get to bring in Snorlax and get, I believe, 2 or 3 turns of Trick Room left. So he brings out his Ivysaur. This is a choice-banded Elemental Punch Snorlax that runs Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Wild Charge, and Seed Bomb. I believe it was used in the video that's up on Pokemosh Pit where I was playing against Zeph. It actually does quite a bit better in this match. That was a really terrible team that I was just trying out some pokes that I was like, you know, nobody sees mix attacking Cavalion, and I wanted to try out Marowak. He's always been one of my favorites from back in the day. So right here I don't realize that the Trick Room wore out, and I think that I'm still going to be able to outspeed Aerodactyl. I go for the Ice Punch. I mean, there's really nothing else I could do. My last Pokemon's Heracross, and I would not want to come right into a Stone Edge. I really thought that from full HP I might be able to take a Stone Edge, but he gets another crit. And that's just really bad news. So right here, I go back into Elvis. I'm like, okay, he's obviously going to predict a Sucker Punch on the way out. So I wasn't sure what his set was. Now that I see as Home Claws, it was really good that I didn't go for Sucker Punch. And I'm just going to be able to take him out with a Sheer Force, Life Orb boosted Rock Slide. And Aerodactyl, being the frail suicide lead that he is generally, is just going to get taken right out by that. So now it's down. I got Nidoking and Heracross left, and all he's got left is Rotom Heat. So I'm like, okay, he's probably going to trick me. I know that a lot of Rotom Heats run Trick, so I didn't go for the Sucker Punch right there, but either that was a terrible overprediction on my part, or just he expected me to expect a Trick. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe I just he went for the obvious move and I died. So right here I'm like, okay, he's at -2. I know I'm going to outspeed him. Scarfed Moxie, Heracross. He's at -2. If a Rock Slide doesn't take him out and it doesn't flinch him, I should totally be able to live another Overheat, assuming that this Rotom is choiced in some way with Trick. But to my dismay, he gets yet another critical hit. So 3 really pivotal critical hits there. I'm not sure if I would have lived it, but I know that -2 I may have been able to live it, but I'm not the kind of guy to run calcs. So that was it. I'll see you guys around.